Hello, I'm Dr. Madhvi, pediatrician based in Hyderabad, and this is Kavach. Now, let's address the fourth question by a parent. My child is almost 3 and still not toilet trained. Are we late? So, many parents ask this question. Now, my response is first, this is one of the most common worries parents have, but toilet training is not about age, it is about readiness. Between 2 and 5 years, the brain is still learning bladder sensation, body awareness, motor skills, and emotional regulation. They do not mature together. In developmental science, this follows neuromaturation. The brain must connect feeling, signal, and control, all these three. Until that pathway stabilizes, training cannot stay consistent. A child can be very verbal, very bright, and still not ready yet for toilet training. When we push before readiness, the brain protects itself. That's when we see withholding, anxiety, or even regression. Parents usually worry about two things. Is something wrong with my child? Or am I making it worse by pushing? Which worries you more right now? Let me know. So, what does readiness actually look like? Let's understand. We don't look for one sign, we look for a pattern. So let's say staying dry for longer stretches and realizing they are wet or telling you before it happens, being able to follow simple instructions, most importantly, curiosity, not resistance. Learning happens best when the child feels safe. Accidents are not failure. They are information about how the brain is organizing the control. Skills stabilize only after repeated calm practice. Pressure interrupts that process. If development is otherwise normal and there is no pain, severe constipation, or regression, waiting is often supportive. It is not harmful. You must remember that. Toilet training works fastest when the body is ready. Calm guidance today prevents bigger struggles later. Okay, now let's see the fifth question. Some days my child eats well, other days they refuse almost everything and only ask for the same foods. Is this normal or am I creating a problem? Now let me answer this. Between ages 2 and 5, this is extremely common. Most of the time, it is not at all a nutrition problem. The brain is developing autonomy. This is called neophobia and control seeking. Neophobia. Okay. Now, children learn safety by repeating familiar foods. Asking for the same meal again is not stubbornness. It is the brain testing predictability. When we push bites or chase with food, appetite actually decreases. Predictable meals and removing pressure allow curiosity to return. Repeated exposure without stress expands what they eat. Parents usually worry about poor nutrition or creating bad habits, which worries you more right now. So, when should picky eating get more attention? If a child avoids whole food groups or fewer and fewer foods, or textures cause gagging, fear, or panic, that's when we pause. Weight loss or falling growth patterns actually need assessment. Many feeding struggles come from how food is offered, like constant snacking, distraction feeding, or multiple adults insisting on eating. They confuse the hunger signals in the child. Now, children recognize appetite best when routines are predictable, meals are regular, and snacks are not replacing meals. So, the meals have to be given at regular intervals. And meal time is meal time. It should not be a snack time. Adults decide what is offered. Children decide how much to eat. That's how it should be. That division builds trust with food. Most picky eating improves when structure increases and pressure decreases. If concerns remain, we assess growth and behavior together calmly. Okay, now the last question for the session today. Every morning my child cries at the school gate. Am I doing something wrong by leaving? Everyone wants to know the answer for this, right? So when a child starts school, their brain loses predictability overnight. new place, new adults, new routine, and their safe person disappears. So the crying is not always fear. Often it is a protest. In child psychology, this is called separation protest, apart from a part of the attachment theory. A securely attached child expects safety to stay close. When it leaves, they object. So surprisingly, crying can actually be a sign of a strong bond. The first week is usually the loudest, but the important moment is not the goodbye. It is what happens 5 minutes after you leave. Many children cry at the gate, then they enter the class and start playing because the brain switches from alarm mode to adaptation mode. Not wanting school does not mean your child isn't ready. It means the child is learning a new safe relationship outside the home. It is literally how independence develops, isn't it? This goodbye teaches a child my parent leaves and always comes back. Confidence grows from reunions, not from never separating. You must remember that. Most children go through this phase for a few days or weeks. Parents usually worry about two things: emotional harm or losing the bond. Which worries you more right now? Let me know. Now, when should a parent look a little closer? If the crying continues beyond 1 to 2 weeks, or your child stays withdrawn even after reaching class, that is different from normal adjustment. Also, notice daily functioning. Are they playing less, eating poorly, having trouble sleeping, or showing fear that doesn't reduce with routine? Those are signals to pause and understand what feels unsafe to them. And here is something very important. Children don't only react to school, they react to the parents' goodbye actually. In psychology, we call this emotional referencing. Children borrow emotional meaning from the adult they trust the most. So, a long, hesitant goodbye, a worried face, or returning repeatedly after leaving, many of you must be doing this, right? Can accidentally tell the child's brain, this place might not be safe, but a calm, predictable goodbye, even if the child cries, actually helps adaptation happen faster because the message becomes clear and stable. Early school refusal is rarely about readiness. It is almost always about adjustment to a new attachment environment. With consistency, reassurance, and time, most children settle. And very often, parents settle at the same time. We are not teaching them to tolerate separation. We are teaching them that connection survives separation. Parenting comes with questions, and asking them early matters. If you have concerns about your child's health or development, talk to your pediatrician. At Kavach, we are here to help you understand what's normal, what needs support, and when to seek care.